Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday Marriage Conversations. We are your hosts,
Thaddeus and Amanda Randolph. Glad you join us on this evening. We're so excited for you being here tonight. We're excited about you being
taking
tonight.
a deep breath.
Taking
right?
a deep breath. You know,
Yeah,
it's been a long Monday. We've been
Yeah.
doing a lot. So we're just thankful for you being with us on tonight. Pray your week got off to a great start.
And we also hope you had a great Valentine's.
Yeah, hope you had a great Valentine's Day, and you
Shared love with your
shared
loved
love
ones.
and your loved ones, and we didn't. We kind of took it easy.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm not a big Valentine, but that's just
You're my Valentine, though.
yeah. You're my Valentine. You know?
Okay.
I mean, I think I should. I'll try to do 365. I don't try to make a deposit in one day. I'm not saying anybody's doing it.
You at least make a monthly deposit.
Yes, I do. All right.
All right. So welcome again to our Monday Marriage Conversations. We're having a discussion. We've been talking this month specifically, about whispering sweet nothing to our loved ones or significant others. We've kind of flipped it a little bit and said we're not just whispering sweet nothing, we're whispering sweet something.
Yes.
Because
something.
we want our words to be impactful and meaningful. We want to build one another up and not tear one another down.
Yeah.
And today we've kind of got an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
That we had to go. I won't say we had to go back, but as we look back over the years that we've been together, we can say that we've experienced.
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the silent treatment.
Yes. Old silent treatment.
Yeah, where we shut down and don't want to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Right. And so our foundation for this evening is the silent treatment versus the sacred silence. And some of you may be wondering, what is the difference? What do you mean by sacred silence? Well, hold on and listen to us on this evening.
Stay tuned.
You will find out.
We'll find out.
So we've uncovered the immense power that words have,
Mhm.
right? How, as I said earlier, how they can build up a relationship or they can tear it down, right? And how we can whisper sweet words that nurture intimacy and love to our mates, right? And how do we do this? We do that with biblical wisdom and using words of grace and intention, right? We've also explored some practical ways that you can speak life over your relationship or into your relationship by making your words a source of strength, healing, and connection, right? But what happens when words are not spoken? That's where that silent treatment comes in, right? What about the moment when silence fills the space where words should be? Is silent always golden? They used to say the golden rule was
Silence is golden.
Yeah, silence is golden. Or can it sometimes be a slow poison in a relationship?
Yeah.
That's deep right there.
Yeah, that's deep. And I think if it's done in an unhealthy way, it definitely can be that silent poison.
Yeah. Well, the silent treatment is unhealthy. That's what I just heard you say.
Yeah, it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
I think silent treatment is definitely helped. When I looked at it there, I never uh, uh, things I spots. I never looked at silent treatment like that.
Mhm.
But when we looked at it, I said, yeah, that silent treatment is an unhealthy way of
Communicating.
communicating.
Yeah.
It is a form of communication, and
Yeah.
that's why I looked at it. I said, so even when I'm talking, body language is a form of communication.
Mhm. Mhm.
Talking and I'm talking is communication, but silent treatment when I'm not talking, I'm also communicating.
Yes, you are.
That's powerful in a way that because we just look at it as, I just don't want to talk to you right now, or you know, yeah, I don't have nothing to say to you right
Yeah.
now, and we give each other silent treatment. We'll walk around on eggshells, and
Mm.
we don't speak to each other for 2 days. I mean, unless we have to stay past and salt or or something like
Did
that.
you pick up the
Yeah,
kids? Did you get the mail?
yeah. And I
Those
think
kind of
about that. Sometimes when we was younger, we uh, both uh, we both were in the military. It was a lot easier for us to give each other silent treatment
Yeah, it was.
because we were both. You went to your job. I went to my job.
Yeah.
We didn't call each other all day.
We didn't
We didn't
early
have
on we
tech,
didn't have cell phones
like
then.
the first part of it,
Yeah.
but there was no cell phones. There was no. We didn't call. We didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, you had
well,
your unit phone you could call, but you
yeah.
didn't call.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
say, "Hey, you want to go to lunch?" Nothing. You just
Mhm.
wasn't talking. It was a silence. But that was not helpful.
Yeah, it was.
It
We
was just
leave the
not.
job, come home,
Yeah, and
still
still don't
don't
talk.
want to talk.
Still don't talk. Yeah, just eat and then go. Probably eat. Go to you be in one
One
room. I've
room.
been up
Mm-hmm.
because at
Yep.
the time we didn't have no kids. You just be in one room. I've been other.
Yep.
Whatever no PlayStation nothing like that. I'll probably go watch sports or something.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So
Yeah. We went and watched sports and I picked up a book and started reading.
yeah. So that's how we did the silent treatment. So we've been there, done that, got a T-shirt. So we definitely can take. But when we look back on that, we say, man, we saw how unhealthy that was.
Yeah.
It did not uh, help our relationship at all.
Mhm.
Did not help us with connection. Uh, 'Cause there were a couple times we had needed marriage counseling ourselves
Yeah, we did.
because there was no connection and we wasn't talking. So silent treatment is definitely unhealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. So imagine this,
Hmm.
right? And we kind of just talked about this a little bit, right? But just imagine this. You and your partner, your spouse, you had a disagreement. And instead of addressing it, one of you shuts down completely. Like we just said, no
Hmm.
words, no eye contact, just an invisible wall that grows thicker by the minute.
Hmm.
When you go to work, I go to work. There's a wall.
Yeah.
We don't talk to each other. We don't call each other. We
Mm.
barely say hello to each other
Yeah.
in the morning. Or
Mhm.
when we get home, we barely say hello to each other. You go to one room and I go to another. That wall that might have started like a pony walk
Yeah.
has now become an
And
8 foot,
yeah.
9 foot, 10 foot wall between the two of you,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So days pass and the tension lingers in the air. And we've been there where we've gone days really without talking to each other,
Yeah.
without like, hey,
Hey. Hey.
how you doing?
Come on.
Yeah. Without like, right?
You have that. You have that. I want to call it a holy divide. Oh, you have that the cold divide.
That cold shoulder.
No, the cold divide when you speak. It's
Cold.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't touch me. Don't touch my leg. Don't. You be on your side of the bed. I'm on my side. We ain't talking. We ain't touching. We ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. So now contrast that with another scenario, another scenario, right? It's a moment of silence, but this time it's different.
Mm.
How's it different? It's intentional,
Hmm.
it's reflective, and filled with grace. It creates a space for listening, for understanding, and for healing. And we both had to learn it, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into this where we're going to explore how you can break free from the toxic cycle of silent treatment and embrace silence as a sacred space for deeper connection,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
what we're going to do for today.
The one we talked about silence, one type of silence build walls. Um, think out. So, silence can either be a weapon,
Hmm.
a wounds, or a sacred place that heals.
Yeah.
And did you go over that? You
No.
said it? Huh?
No.
So in this, we're going to talk about the difference between using silence to punish. That's another thing is silence can be used to punish as well. Mm. Using it to punish and using it to cultivate deeper understanding and connection. We're going to talk about the two contrasts. How we use silence to as a form of punish, or I'm using silence to uh, cultivate a deeper understanding and a deeper connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack how to handle conflict without withdrawing
Yeah. That's good.
in a harmful way, and how biblical wisdom challenges, encourages us to embrace silence with intention.
Yeah.
That's good because most people don't think of that embracing silence with intention.
Yeah.
That's important. That's important. I wanted to share something, but I don't have to do this. But I'll leave it alone for now.
One of our former pastors preached a message. I forget the exact title of it, but he gave us this acronym like KYMS.
KYMS.
And he said, keep your mouth shut, right? And when he was saying that in kind of in regards, I remember the context. It wasn't so much about relationships, but it could be used in relationships, right? Where you're having a disagreement with someone. I think it was talking about engaging in foolish or vain conversations and arguments with other individuals.
Yeah.
Because you can't persuade them when their mind is already made up. So it's like just keep your mouth shut and allow the Lord to speak in the interim for you, right? I might be mixing it up a little bit, but anyway, this is what I'm saying. The KYMS in this instance is where you just decide to sit in sacred silence and allow the Lord to handle whatever that situation is, wherever it's doing with internal reflection with yourself or your spouse having to deal with internal reflection. Where did I go wrong? What did I do? How can we fix this? How can we come back together and not have such a heated discussion or disagreement, but we can speak to one another in love, right? So silence can build walls or bridges. We just have to choose which one we want to build.
Yeah, I think another part of that KYMS could be a way of I'm going to keep my mouth shut so I don't escalate.
Yes.
As well. Don't escalate the situation further. So it's not only where I'm being going to reflect, but I'm also I don't want to escalate.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So I
That's
keep
a good
my mouth
point.
shut.
That's a good point.
Or if I don't want to say, I'll make sure I don't want to say something or say some words that I know I can't take it back. Once it's out there, you can take it back.
There. Yeah.
So, and then it goes back to what he said too about keeping a guard over your mouth.
Yeah.
Scripture tell you that. I think it's in Proverbs that Lord put a guard over my mouth, oh Lord, over my mouth, over my lips. So it put a guard over it means keep me from saying the wrong thing or speaking evil or saying the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah. So faith declaration for this would be, I will use silence as a tool for understanding, not as a weapon for withdrawal.
That's good. I will use silence as a tool for understanding, not as a weapon for withdrawal. So how does that look like in relationship? How does that look like in relationship, marriage or a relationship?
I think one of the things we've had to learn is to say, okay, our emotions are high. We may say the wrong thing. We may say something we can't take back. So let's just take a time out.
Yeah.
And let's agree to take the time out, knowing that we need to go and cool ourselves down so that calmer heads can prevail, right? Common sense and wisdom can be applied to whatever it is that the discussion is about. And then we say, okay, we're taking a time out, but we're going to agree to come back
Mhm.
and have this conversation because it needs to be had, right? So
Yep.
I think that's how it shows up in a relationship. When we see and understand that we're having a discussion that can quickly spiral out of control,
Yeah.
but we choose to step back and step away from it, and we both agree to
Mhm.
step away from it in that moment so that we can come back and talk about it.
I just had a thought. How just looking back over our marriage over years, just especially our early years,
Mhm.
how that man, we were very good at silent treatment. We could, it could
Master,
be like you wasn't even in the house.
we were masters.
Yeah, you
We
could,
could teach you a master class
yeah.
on the
Because
silent treatment.
and I think that I think it's I think two things may have well for me, I'll say for me, but two things may have been that. Number one, I'm an introvert. So I like being by myself. I get my energy for myself anyway. If I ain't gotta talk to you, if I'm in that mode, I want to talk to you. I can easily get.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think another thing is my upbringing and my environment. We didn't have there was. I saw that. I saw a lot of that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
We give each other the silent treatment. So I grew up seeing it. I grew up watching it. You can grow up thinking that's the way I handle
yeah,
conflict.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the way I handle when I get mad and when stuff don't go my way, is I go into my corner and I go, "Mm, I don't want to talk to you. I get my ball and I go home
yeah, 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 yeah.
because because it don't go my way. I think so too. My environment, number one, my environment. Number two, I'm an introvert. I'm an introverted person, so it's easy for me to get into that mode.
Yeah.
I don't know what would be yours.
I would say that I'm an introvert too.
Hmm.
I draw energy by being alone and being silent. And I grew up, of course, the oldest child, and I was the oldest child for almost 11 years. So there were many a days when I was young. I was a latchkey kid. So I was home alone by myself.
Hmm.
Didn't have a whole lot to talk because my mom would say,
Yeah,
"Don't open the door, don't
yeah,
answer the phone,
yeah,
don't talk to nobody." Right.
yeah.
So I
So
can be by myself and I'm comfortable being by
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
But then I think the other side to that too is that I didn't like
Mhm.
conflict.
Okay. Yeah, neither one.
Not so much that I saw it, but
Yeah,
I just did not like it,
yeah,
right? And the conflict that I did see growing up wasn't healthy.
yeah.
So I didn't like conflict. So mine is almost like yours, but a little bit different.
I think that's.
We're both introverts.
Hmm.
We both can do the silent treatment. We both can withdraw into ourselves. But that's not always healthy.
I think that's true for both of us. That uh, we both are introverts and the solitude when we saw what helps. So I like the space that the phrase says. So it lets me know that silence can be used as a tool or a weapon.
Hmm, hmm.
So now,
What's the difference between a tool and a weapon?
a tool is like a resource used to build something.
Hmm,
A weapon normally is for war or aggression. I would
hmm.
say like or
So,
safe. It
okay.
could be safe, but mainly war or aggression.
Can I add
Go
another
ahead.
definition for tool? A tool can be used to fix,
That's good. That's even better. I said tool you use what
build
build
something.
and repair and fix. Yes, yes,
Tool can be used to fix
yes.
something. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. So I like that silence as a how used to fix. And the thing that comes to mind is being reflective,
hmm,
or taking a step back and being reflective, just sitting in silence. Because the scripture even tells us in Ecclesiastes that there's a time to what? There's a time to speak
and a time to keep silent.
and a time to be silent and a time to speak. So
Hmm.
there's a time for both of them.
Yes.
There's an appropriate time, an appointed time for both. But I like that we have to um, know the time, distinguish the time, know, and then use wisdom in the moment. Say, hey, this might not be a good time for us. We've said that this might not be a good time for us. To talk.
Hmm.
Let's table this and you know reflect on it and come back at another time and discuss it.
Yeah.
I think that's how. That's one of the ways that this could help in relationships. And we know, hey, we this is not a good time for us to talk about this. Not the right moment for us to talk about this. Um, let's both think about it, reflect on it, and then come back. Even when cooler heads prevail or when the tensions are not as high, the emotions are not high, let's come back and talk. Okay. I like Proverbs 17:28 says this: even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongue.
Mm.
It reminds me of the old saying that says that um oh, I might remember it. I might remember it in just a minute. But I used to say it all the time when I learned. I said, "Oh man, I like that." Uh, something about uh, being silent and keep my mouth shut. Uh, I'll remember in a
I
minute.
don't know what you're
I'll
talking about. I
remember in a
don't know
minute.
what you're
But it's
referring.
almost it looked like it got it from the script.
It might have.
But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's a little ironic that a fool,
Mm-hmm.
right, can be thought of as wise when they when they keep silent, when they keep their mouth.
Mm. Yeah, yes, 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 yes,
Because you would think that a fool would just continue to keep talking,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when they are considered wise when they keep their mouth silent. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna use the scripture,
Silent.
and then they are discerning if they hold their tongue, meaning that they don't speak
Mm-hmm.
um, just off the cuff, of just keep speaking and talking and rattling off.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think it's important because we you know how we usually hear growing up. I'm gonna tell you a piece of my mind. I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. That means that somebody's gonna go off on you.
yeah, you have no mind to give.
Yeah, somebody's gonna go off on you. But scripture tells it's not always appropriate just to talk to a lot of talking. Sometimes it's best to listen. And the best moments we've learned, in even we do the talker listener. Uh, uh, and we found out that uh, active listening is a skill.
Yes, it is.
And so we found out that it's not always about what you say. Sometimes it's good just to sit and listen. It's important in relationship to be a good listener, to be sit in silence and hear what the other person has to say. And so that's another thing. But it seems like everybody, like you could be in those conversations where I'm not listening to hear you. I'm just waiting you to finish so I can say what's on my mind. I want to say something. So who's that, Chris? So I can say I don't have my glasses. I can't see
Chris Henderson.
that. Bless you, Chris Henderson. But I don't. Yeah, but so we have to make sure that we're in a space where uh, we can not only just speak, but it's important for us to listen as well. Be an active listener. That is a skill. That is something that just comes naturally because most of us love. We want to, even if you're not even if you don't have the gift of gab. Most of us, when we get into certain situations or we get into disagreements or have conflict, we want to say what's on our mind.
Because we want to be heard. That's
Yes,
why
because
we
we want
want to
to
be
be heard.
heard. You know, so
So
we're gonna talk.
so both of us want to be heard. So we both talking at the same time. We just talking over each other,
Yeah, and nobody's
and
listening.
nobody's listening. So we have to develop those active listening skills in order to hear each other,
Yeah.
so each can have their time to be heard.
Yeah, so that was from Proverbs 17:28. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues.
Oh, I remember. It's better to be silent, be thought a fool, than to open my mouth and remove all doubt.
Ooh. Somebody put
Yes,
that in the chat. Can you say it again?
it's better. It's better to keep silent and be thought a fool than to open my mouth and remove all doubt.
Wow.
I knew.
Mm,
Thank you, Hulk. I knew it'll come back to me. All right.
that's good. And the other scripture you mentioned was Ecclesiastes 3:7. There's a time to be silent and a time to speak. So, what are some practical tips that we can use to um, place silence in that sacred space? What are some practical things that we can do? to go from silent treatment to the sacred silence in a relationship.
One thing we do is practice pause and pray before reacting, before saying anything. Take a deep breath and invite God into the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
That's important. I was speaking to some individuals the other day that how that God, most of what God will not force himself on anyone.
mhm,
Most of what God says is by invitation.
yeah,
Jesus would say, whosoever will, let him come. He never forces you, but he always invites you.
yeah.
So you have to be able, it's on your, then the onus is on you to invite him in
Or to accept the
or to
invitation.
accept his invitation. To accept his invitation. Because that's the way that um you humble yourself enough to accept the invitation and say, hey, I need change. No, I need what you have. So pause and pray before reacting. Take a deep breath and invite God in the moment. How do I invite God in the moment? It reminds me of the scripture in Proverbs says, it says, trust the Lord all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him. Acknowledge him in what I'm about to say next.
Yeah, yeah,
So God, I acknowledge you and what help me what I'm about to say or how I'm about to say it. Or maybe I don't need to say it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I invite you in the moment. I acknowledge you in the
There's
moment.
another scripture that I just remembered that the it says, Lord, let the words of my heart and no, let the words of my mouth and the
Yeah.
meditation of my heart
Oh yeah, that's
be
good.
acceptable in thy
Yes.
sight.
Mm.
We know we're saying it's, oh Lord, my Redeemer,
You
but the thing
preaching.
is, we need to make sure that the words that we're saying to one another are not just acceptable to each other, but they're
Yeah.
acceptable to God.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Then the second one we can do, we can communicate. You need time to process rather than just shutting down. That's what we did. That's what we didn't. We didn't learn that.
no, we
We
learned
learned that.
that
We just
later.
shut down. We didn't communicate nothing. We were communicating by silence, by being silent. And our silence was some of that silence was punishment
Yes, it was
or control.
both.
It was both. It was by the silence was punishment and control. I'm in control of this. I talk to you when I get ready.
Oh, thank God for growth and change.
Thank God for grace.
Oh,
Thank God for grace. I
yeah.
talk to you when I get ready. So if I don't see, I learned something. See, and here I'm telling myself. Because we all say this is what a man needs, but I knew I learned in high school that women like attention.
Mm.
So you ignore them. No, they will come find out why you're
Did
ignoring.
I come find you?
Sometimes.
Mm.
Not a lot. Sometimes you didn't because you
I
look
left you
introverted.
alone. I left you
But
alone.
this was when we was young.
Yeah,
So that's part of why I got some of that from.
yeah.
But I found out that's not good.
You were taught wrong.
I was taught wrong. I learned wrong.
So I like how it says to communicate when you need time to process.
Yes, that's good.
That's something that we didn't mention earlier when I was talking about taking
Mhm.
that time out. That's what that time out allows you to do.
Yeah.
It allows you to process what you're feeling,
Mm.
what you're thinking, and not so much rehearsing what you're going to say,
Yeah.
but praying and asking God to give you the right words to say.
Yeah.
Because if we just do talk from the top of our minds, still going from off of what we're feeling and how we may have felt in that moment, we could still come back and say the wrong thing. So we take that time, we use it judiciously and wisely, right? To
Hmm.
process what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and then praying for God to give us the words to say so that we can come back together and resolve
Yeah.
what we were in disagreement.
For those of you just joining us, we're talking about whispering, speak nothing. This is our episode. We're talking about the silent treatment versus sacred silence, and we're talking about practical steps to how to help us to practice this. It says in the last one, it says use intentional silence to reflect and hear what your partner is truly saying. That's what we talk about the active listening.
Hmm.
Using intentional. That's important. Using intentional silence. So most people are not silent intentionally.
Yeah. We like to use the scripture was in James 1
Yeah.
and 19,
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
where we are to talk less,
Yeah.
listen more, and keep
Keep
our
emotions
emotions
in
in
check.
check.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's the way we say it.
That's the
We
way we
know
say it.
that James says it a little bit different,
Yeah.
but that's what we
Yes. That's
talk
the
less,
Randolph version. Randolph version. Okay.
talk less,
Help us.
you got one mouth,
Listen.
and listen more,
Listen more. 2 years.
2 ears.
And then keep your emotions in check.
Yeah.
Or be slow to wrath, as it
Yep.
says.
Yep. And that's intentionally using that silence in order to hear what your spouse or significant other is saying.
Hmm.
That's that active listening being put to use in your communication,
Yeah.
in your relationship. That's me sitting and making sure that I'm giving you the undivided attention that you
Yeah.
require. Not so much that is necessary. I'm gonna put it like
Yeah.
that. For me to get an understanding of what it is that you're saying
Mhm.
and also understand what you're communicating to me, I
Yeah.
need to give you my undivided attention.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
don't give it to you, I may miss something.
Yeah. That's true. And in that, when I'm listening to you, if need be, to make sure that I'm giving you my undivided attention, I can repeat something you said, and that's an indication to you that I am listening.
Yep.
I am listening, and I can put my phone down and put my electronics
And,
down
listen, y'all. There have been times where we've
and
had
turn the TV off.
conversations where I said, "Did you hear what I said? Can you repeat back what I just said?" And he might give me the last 5 words I just said. I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But did you catch what I said before that? Sometimes we be
Sometimes. So, I'm still a work in progress.
we both are. We both are works in
Thank God for
progress.
grace.
Yeah.
There's no perfect marriages we talked about.
No perfect marriages. So we've been discussing the silent treatment versus sacred silence and understanding. Hopefully, what we've shared with you on this evening has given you an understanding of what that is, what the differences are between them. When you operate in silent treatment,
Mhm.
you're shutting down
Yeah.
on your spouse or your
Yeah.
significant other, and you're building this wall up,
Building the wall.
this invisible wall that has to come down. And the only way it's going to come down is if you come back together and
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Because look at this. Walls, they hinder, they separate, and they block.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. But bridges, what do bridges mostly do?
They connect two
Bridges
places
connect.
together.
They connect people. They connect communities. So they bring connection to your relationship. So you always want to build, have a way to build that bridge. You never want to put up walls. You want to try to keep them putting up those walls, especially walls of silence.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we talk mostly when we go give each other silent treatment, as it's called. Most of the time, it's a form of punishment. It's a form of control. Right?
Yep.
So it's a way we don't want to talk right now.
Yep.
So I want to either punish you by not speaking to you, or I want to control you. Right?
Yep.
By determine when I'm going to speak to you again. so we don't want that. That's the unhealthy version of communication. And as we said earlier, the silent treatment is communication.
Yes.
You are communicating. But it's unhealthy. And we want to make sure that we're communicating healthy ways, communicating to each other, to our spouse, our significant other. We're giving them our undivided attention. We're giving them not the silent treatment as a form of control, but we have to go take some time out to reflect, to process. And that's another thing that I had to learn because I'm a processor. I had to actually communicate, hey, I'm processing.
And when you don't, I ask you, are you
You
still
ask
thinking?
me, am I thinking? I
Are
have
you
to let you know that
processing?
I'm processing.
Yeah.
Now, let me process this, and then I can speak. Yeah, I'm a process.
So again, we want you to understand the difference between the silent treatment and sacred silence, because the silent treatment can be destructive and poisonous to your relationship,
Hmm.
but the sacred silence can be constructive, okay? Because it gives you that space for you to think and for you to reflect and for you to process.
Yep.
And that's what you want in your relationship. Because if you don't, then you'll have unresolved silence,
Hmm.
which creates an emotional distance in your relationship.
Hmm.
And you don't want that,
Yep.
right? So the power of stillness and communication is us listening with our heart and responding with grace.
No, that's good. I like that.
Okay? I'll say that
Listening with our
again.
heart
Listening with our heart
and responding
and
with
responding
grace.
with grace.
That's good.
And
Us,
that's,
what's gonna say?
I was going to say, that's what we hope that we have shared with you
Yeah.
for today's Monday marriage
Okay.
conversation.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed tonight. Uh, you want to listen to this again and go back, we'll be on Facebook Live, on YouTube. Go to our page, like, share, let someone know what you heard. If you like what you did, share with someone. Some of us may need this conversation. We need to hear something we said on tonight. So like, share, let someone know that what you heard on Monday Marriage Conversation. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again next Monday at 8 p.m. Monday Marriage Conversation. God
God
bless you.
bless you.